Okay, guys, welcome to Social Studies. I posted the reading in Google Classroom, so I'll go ahead and pull it up. If you read it, great. If not, we can do it together. Okay, this is so it's called nutritional debt, and it says, why do so many people in poor countries eat so badly, and what can be done about it? And this is from February 18th, 2012. And this is basically looking at Brazil. And in this graph right here, you can see the toll of malnutrition. And it says global deaths of children under 5 in 2008. And it says there were total deaths, 8.8 million, and 35% of those are from malnutrition. And you can see kind of, it breaks it down what some of the deaths were caused by. You know, each one is a percent. And some of these are associated with malnutrition, like, you know, maybe diarrhea, pneumonia. Some of those are just side effects of malnutrition. So let's go ahead and read this article. Okay. In El Dorado, one of Sao Paulo's poorest and most misleading named favelas, some 8-year-old boys are playing football on a patch of ground once better known for drug gangs and hunger. Although they look the picture of health, they are not. After the match, they gather around a sack of bananas beside the pitch. At school, the kids get a full meal every day, explains Jonathan Hannity, the Secretary General of Children at Risk Foundation, a local charity. But in the holidays, they come to us without breakfast or lunch, so we give them bananas. They are filling, cheap, and they stimulate the brain. Malnutrition used to be persuasive and invisible in El Dorado. Now there is less of it and equally important. It's no longer hidden. It's become more visible, so people are doing something about it. In El Dorado's slum, children today eat better, and it's partially thanks to Jose Graziano de Silva. He ran Brazil's Fome Zero, Zero Hunger campaign, a policy that's helped cut hunger by more than a third in Latin America's larger country. Now, Mr. Graziano wants to apply the lesson he has learned more widely. He recently took over as the head of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, and he stands a better chance of success than his predecessors. His appointment coincides with a shift in the world's approach to fighting hunger. Governments around the world are paying increasing attention to nutrition. Underlying all this is a change in thinking about how to best provide nutrition with less stress on providing extra calories in food and more improved nutrition by supplying micronutrients such as iron and vitamins. So it says a damning record. Even when there is enough food, people do not seem healthier. On top of 1 billion without enough calories, another 1 billion are malnourished in the sense they lack micronutrients, often called hidden hunger. And further, 1 billion are malnutrition in the sense they eat too much and are obese. It's a damning record. Out of the world population of 7 billion, 3 billion eat too little, too unhealthy, or too much. Malnutrition is attracting attention now because the damages done only recently begun to sink in. The misery of lacking calories, bloated bellies, wasted limbs, and lethargy of famine is easy to spot. So are the disastrous effects of obesity. By contrast, the ravages of inadequate nutrition are veiled, but no less dreadful. More than 160 million children in developing countries suffer from a lack of a vitamin. 1 million die because they have weak immune systems, and 500,000 go blind each year. Iron deficiency causes anemia, which affects almost half of poor country children, almost 500 million women, killing more than 60,000 each year in pregnancy. Low iron deficiency, easily cured by adding the stuff to salt, causes 18 million babies each year to be born with mental impairments. Malnutrition associated with over a third of the children's death is the single worst important risk factor many experts in many diseases. A third of all children in the world are underweight or stunted, too short for their age, a classic symptom of malnutrition, or malnourishment, excuse me. The damage malnutrition does in the first 1,000 days of life is also irreversible. According to research published in The Lancet, a medical journal, malnutrition children are less likely, all things being equal, to go to school, less likely to stay there, and more likely to struggle academically. They earn less than their better fed peers over a lifetime, many poor spouses, and die earlier. Paradoxically, malnutrition can also cause obesity later in life. The womb and during the first couple of years, the body adjusts to a poor diet by squirreling away whatever it can as fat and energy reserve. It never loses its acquired metabolism. This explains astronomical obesity rates in countries that have switched from poor to middle income status in Mexico, for instance. Obesity was also almost unknown now in 1980. Now 30% of Mexicans adults are clinically obese and 70% are overweight. These are among the highest rates in the world, almost as bad as America. India has an obesity epidemic in cities as people eat more processed food and adapt more sedentary lifestyles. As with obesity will come new diseases such as diabetes and heart disease, as India doesn't have enough diseases to worry about. The good news is better nutrition can be stunningly good investment. Finding micro deficiencies is cheap. Vitamin supplements cost next to nothing, bring lifelong benefits. Every dollar spent promoting breastfeeding in hospital yields returns between $5 and $67. Every dollar spent on giving pregnant women extra iron generates between $6 and $14. Nothing else in developing policy has high returns on investment. In 2008, as part of a project called Copenhagen Consensus, 8 prize-winning economics listed their projects they thought would do the most good and had an imaginary $75 billion to spend. Half their proposed projects involved nutrition. But in many countries, the problem of hidden hunger is hidden from victims themselves, so there's no pressure for change. If everyone in a village is undernourished, poor nutrition becomes the norm and everyone accepts it. This also may explain the reluctance of poor, ill-fed people to spend extra money on food, preferring to buy such things as television or a fancy wedding. When asked about the spending choices, an ill-fed Moroccan farmer told Abet Benjni and Esther Dufo of the Poverty Action Laboratory think tank, "Oh, but a television is more important than food." Education can help change attitudes by persuading people they would benefit from better if more expensive diet. But people in rich countries consume a vast quantities of junk food, knowing full well is bad for them. Interest in improving nutrition is growing, so is alarm at the failures of fighting malnutrition so far. Just as the damage from malnutrition built up over a lifetime, so better nutrition reveals its benefits over many years. As a well-fed mother passes on good health to well-fed children. Okay. So if we were in class, I'd have you guys work with partners, but we're not. So you can just go back, and there are 6 questions here, and you can just go back and look in the article. So one thing says, what's one surprising fact you learned from this article? Why simply providing food to poor countries is no longer enough? What does hidden hunger mean? What is one solution that the article offers for better nutrition? What is the problem concerning food that you believe Americans face today? And if you had $1 million and you could use it to help people become healthier, what would you spend it on? Okay, so just 6 questions there. And then what you're going to do is analyzing the article and its evidence. So these are governments around the world are paying increasing attention to nutrition. Underlying all this is a change to think about how to best improve nutrition with less stress and providing extra calories and more food, improve nutrition by supplying micronutrients such as iron and vitamins. So this basically talks about supporting point 1. Even when there's enough food, people do not seem healthier. The good news is better nutrition can be still a good investment. But there are many countries, the problem of hidden hunger is hidden from the victims themselves. So there's no pressure for change. So what you're going to do from that is, and this says education can change attitudes, but better nutrition will take time. you're going to go and fill this chart out based on kind of these 3 points. And you're going to go back in the article and just give evidence of what the author says about those 3 things and just fill in that chart. And this talks about, I think we covered this last week, there's types of evidence, there's stories or example, there's an expert opinion like a doctor, and then there's specific facts. And basically the article has all 3 of these. It has stories or example, it has expert opinion, or it has facts or statistics. And in this chart, you're just going to put what type of evidence. Is it a story? Is it an expert opinion, or is it a fact? An expert opinion would be like a doctor, maybe. And it talks about different examples of a story example, expert opinion, or fact or statistic. So you can just go ahead and do the best you can to fill out this chart and just go back in the article that we read to answer these questions right here. Okay, I'll be sending out the science link shortly. You guys have a wonderful day if I don't see you in science.